Legend has it that there is an old man who controls the weather here. He is the old man of the lake.
In 1988, a group of scientists tied up the old man so that he wouldn't interfere with their research.
So that trail is fairly difficult for those who are just going down for a leisurely boat ride. And so it's extra special because we're one of the last ones to sit with this view for a long time. We're Jay and Bea, and at the beginning of 2021, we hit the road permanently. We traded our city apartment for a constant stream of Airbnbs, new states, and places. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Come along with us as we explore all the U.S. and beyond has to offer. And join us as we continue
Living on the Way.
Hello there, and welcome back to Living on the Way, the podcast where we share our life of travel with you. And we're getting closer and closer to visiting all 63 national parks. We're actually on location at Crater Lake National Park.
That's right in the middle of the lake. I'm Jay.
And I'm Bea. And finding affordable places to stay during the height of the summer, I guess, can be a challenge here. So last night we stayed one night at a brand new Sleep Inn, which is relatively close, about an hour to the entrance. So it's not a chain we have much experience with, but it's right next to a casino, so
You can walk over from the Sleep Inn and hit the slots.
And we woke up early this morning to make it to our boat ride on time. I had been checking on and off for a month to get tickets for one of the 3 types of boat rides they do in Crater Lake, with no luck. And Jay checked yesterday and scored early morning tickets.
I woke up early yesterday morning, and right at 9 a.m., they released the tickets for the day before, the last minute ones, and I was able to snag a couple on the shuttle one that took us over here to Wizard Island.
But before we get to the boat ride and where we are sitting right now on location, let's back up and talk more about Crater Lake. It is actually a caldera, which inevitably looks like a crater, and that's how it got its name.
Caldera formed when Mount Mazama collapsed 7,700 years ago, following a huge, massive volcanic eruption. They say that down in the bottom of the lake that there's still steam being vented up, but there is no forecasted volcanic activity here anymore.
Right, and speaking of at the bottom of the lake, this is America's deepest lake.
The lake is 1,943 feet deep, which is the 9th deepest in the world, and as Bea said, it's the deepest here in the USA.
And it has no rivers or streams or anything feeding into it, so it was completely formed by snowmelt and rain, mostly snowmelt, because they get 42 feet of snow every year, and we're here in August, and if you are watching this on video, you can see that there's some snow actually still here, and it's going to start snowing again really soon. In fact, they get snow in August sometime.
They have got snow in August, but we'll get to that story in a minute, why that happened. But the lake being that deep does allow, and they estimate there's 4.9 trillion, with a T, gallons of water in here. So the snow melt and the rain over the years have filled it up. And they say it actually only fluctuates about 3 to 5 feet annually now. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty stable at its current height, but that is quite a bit of water, to say the least.
And the water is extremely clear. Again, going back to the fact that there's no sediment from rivers flowing in and out of here. It is this Gatorade deep blue that you can actually see to the bottom where it's shallow. Now, because it's so deep, you can't see to the very, very bottom of 1,900 feet.
Yeah, it's a deep, rich blue. It's beautiful from up top. And then, of course, we're in a caldera, so it also means that from the rim down to the floor, it's actually 4,000 feet, with the highest peak, which you can't see quite from our view in the video, but we saw it on the boat trip in, goes up as high as 8,000 feet. So the volcano, it blew up a 12,000 foot volcano, but there's still 8,000 foot uprise and 4,000 foot around the rim here. So it's very massive scale.
If you just think about that this had an elevation of 12,000 in Oregon, where there's little mountains and hills, but that must have been monstrous.
It took a few hundred years to fill it up, but now that it's filled, it's a beautiful place to come and hang out. And it actually, believe it or not, never freezes. I would not have guessed that.
Something that I wouldn't have guessed, because there's no rivers in and out, so there's no way of getting fish into the lake. There actually are fish in this lake. But as with the more and more national parks we go to that have lakes or big bodies of water like this, it's human that bring them, because in the 1800s, this park is an older park. It's actually the 5th oldest park. So we're talking 1800s. The rangers wanted to bring tourism in, so they stocked the lake with fish. And there's still 2 types of fish here in the lake itself. It's the trout and salmon. And so you're allowed to fish here unchecked, because
not too worried if you take them out of the lake. Bea and I heard about a very interesting story.
Legend has it that there is an old man who controls the weather here. He is the old man of the lake.
And the old man of the lake is truly visible. We did see him on the walk down to where the boat launched from, a tree that floats. He floats vertically. So all you see is the top 3 or 4 feet of it and just floats around. The other 30 feet of the hemlock are below water. So this tree, this old man tree, is standing vertically and floating around. It does 10, 20, 30, sometimes 60 miles in a year as it transverses around the lake. So it's a very odd that the tree floats vertically anyways. They estimate that it's been here at least 450 years.
I think 100, 150 of that was actually floating in this lake. And that leads us back to the legend of the weather he controls.
In 1988, a group of scientists tied up the old man so that he wouldn't interfere with their research.
Thus making him upset.
So they had an extremely early snow. A lot of snow fell in the August of that 88. Until, of course, they released him, and then the weather went back to being very nice again until the normal time of year, the mid to late September when it snows.
Yeah, so he is free to roam. And I think it's interesting. They're not entirely sure what causes him to be able to float vertically like that.
Yeah, it's unexplainable. They have some theories, but they haven't proven it out.
So yeah, let us know down below if you've seen him or if you have guesses as to why he continues to float upright all these years later.
And whatever you do, don't try to hold him back.
That's a little bit about Crater Lake, its history and its lore. And, there's several trails here, and there's actually only one way legally down to the lake, and that is the Cleetwood Trail. You can go down the trail and swim. That's also where the boat launches from. So that trail is fairly difficult for those who are just going down for a leisurely boat ride. It is, 600 and 700 feet, almost straight down, and it has some switchbacks, but I will say that I was glad that I had my hiking pole.
Yeah, they're a knee saver for sure.
And once you make it to the bottom, well, for me at least, there was a sense of dread that I have to go all the way back up that 700 something elevation. But then you're met with the beauty of the clear blue lake. And there's some facilities down there, but mostly you're either there to jump in the icy blue water and swim for a bit, or if you were able to book a boat ride, you board a boat. And we were able to score tickets last minute for a ride over to an island, a wizard island. After checking in, off we went to the 764-foot cinder cone that's left jutting out of the deep blue water. And I guess it must have resembled a wizard's hat to someone sometime in the past.
Which is where we're sitting right now, if you can see us on video.
Yeah, and so this is a lava rock island for the most part. And when you get here, there's 2 trails you can do. There's a few facilities and there's some docks where you can swim, or you can take one of the 2 trails, or if you have enough time and you're a quick hiker, you can do both. One is actually a trail summiting the cinder cone, and that one, they say on all trails, is about an hour and a half. And it is a little bit of a moderate hike, especially because you're scrambling over rocks and going up quite high. And the other one is Fumarole Bay Trail. And it leads you down to actually where we're recording on location today. It's actually in the little Fumarole Bay, as name states. And it's actually a really great place to swim because there's a lot of areas where you can kind of wade out into the very cold water. I don't even know what the temperature is, but it's very cold. I tested it. And that hike is not that bad. It's a moderate hike. I will say that All Trails, I believe, said it was easy, which I'm going to hopefully be able to correct. But you're scrambling over lava rocks for a great portion of it. But as far as elevation gain and those type of things, it's not hard.
If you are stable with your walking and footing, you can easily do it. But if you're not, then probably going to want to pass because you're walking on top of a lot of rocks that move, a lot of lava rocks.
Yeah, and again, I was glad we had our hiking poles because they give me stability when I'm going through the rocks. And we also have taller boots for ankle support. Don't be walking out here on flip-flops. Yeah, it's a great peaceful place because most people seem to book it up the summit because that's the longer hike and they want to get that done. For us, this is a really nice, peaceful, quiet moments. And why it's even more special to us, I think, is the sad fact that they're going to have to close the Cleetwood Trail. The end of this summer, we are one of the last ones on this island and the last ones down the trail as we know it because it's in such bad shape that they need to just close it and completely start again with renovations. And they're anticipating that could take 2 or 3 years. They don't think they'll open it back up till 2029. I'm glad we made it out here, and so it's extra special because we're one of the last ones to sit with this view for a long time.
Absolutely. So you can still visit Crater Lake National Park and you can still do the rim drive all the way around and see all the cool views. But coming down, going in the lake, going over to Wizard Island, taking a dip in the water, that will be inaccessible for the near future.
Crater Lake in general is going through a lot of different renovations and construction. The East Rim is actually closed for construction, and I think it says it's going to be closed in 2026 as well. Just check before you come. It's a very beautiful place, and you can still get great views from the Rim Village at the top, which is the main visitor center, and driving around whatever portions of the Crater Rim Drive that is open when you're here. And the reason for the shutdown of Cleetwood Trail is, as I mentioned, it's starting to fall apart. It's a 1.1 mile, almost straight down, straight up. So it's very prone to erosion and rock falls, and the retaining wall is actually falling apart. And the marina bulkhead has been failing, and in fact, the whole system failed in 2016. So it needs completely overhauled and renovated. And the other reason for such a long closure and why it's going to be closed till 2029 is because there's such a short construction season here. They don't even open all the park until sometimes mid-July because there's still so much snow.
It takes a long time to melt off 40 plus feet of snow every year. And of course, if you interrupt the old man of the lake, you may get snow even earlier than September.
While we understand that there's needed to be renovations and the length of it does make sense, it is sad. And that's, again, goes back to why this visit is lined up perfectly for us, because we got to come down here. We actually got to do a boat ride. And not only that, I have to say that we're actually here when there aren't that many forest fires in the area. And so we have this unobstructed, beautiful blue skies and beautiful view, no smoke.
Yes, we will be one of the last ones on this island for many years.
Yes, so you're going to have to live vicariously through us if it's something you want to do. Definitely check out the video podcast version of this episode, as we're going to show as much as we can so that in the coming years, if it's something you want to come back to, you can compare and contrast. And like I said, live vicariously through this last trip to Wizard Island and the last boat rides out into the lake. I hope you enjoyed this journey with us. And if you've ever been down here, or if you're dying to come down, let us know. Let us know what you enjoyed or what you look forward to when it opens back up, because we love having you along with us. So follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, we will be
living on the way.